Hello, Field of Dreams fans, one and all, and welcome to another episode of the Dream Nation Show. This is episode 4. Hard to believe it's already our 4th episode here. I'm your host, Roman Weinberg, Director of Operations for the Field of Dreams movie site, and we have a special guest today. It's going to be a great show. We have the founder and lead orchestrator of the iconic Ghost Players of the Field of Dreams movie site, Keith Rahe, on today as part of our show, and he's going to walk us through the story of how the Ghost Players were formed. It's really an incredible story, and all of the adventures that they have gone on from the early days of the Field of Dreams movie site, and walk us through the history and the incredible experiences that they've had and those they've interacted with. So without further ado, here is my interview with Keith Rahe of the Ghost Players.
Good morning, Keith. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us this morning, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to be here.
All right, so you are the founder of the iconic Ghost Players, and those in the area are familiar with the Ghost Players and their affiliation with the Field of Dreams and what they stand for and what they do in the community. But for those that aren't familiar, can you shed a little light on what the Ghost Players do and what they stand for?
Sure. Yeah, the Ghost Players are actually many of the guys were originally the baseball players that were featured in the movie Field of Dreams, the guys that came out of the cornfield and played ball, and they were part of the cast of the movie. And so after the movie was released in April of 1989, like they had said, like James Rose, the little girl in the movie had said, people will come. People did start to come out to the field in May of that year. And so myself and some of the other guys started to appear out there and you just play catch with the tourists, pitch to them, do different things like that. And it kind of just took off from there. We started wearing the old uniforms, the White Sox uniforms, and such, and we started to appear annually at the field. And really, I think what the Ghost Players stand for, I think it really is, the movie itself, what that, the whole, baseball relationships with your family and such, and just really what a good thing that is. And the players have done that through the last, we're going on almost 30 years of doing that now, and we've done that not only here in the Dyersville and Iowa area, but we've done that across the United States and overseas for a long time.
You touched on it. This is our 30th anniversary of the film, and you guys are still going strong, and you guys have other Sunday throughout the summer out at the Field of Dreams called the Ghost Sunday shows. Can you go into a little bit about what those are and what they're like?
Yeah, that's how we got started. We started to appear out at the field in September of 1989, and just appearing out of the cornfield. I'm lucky enough, my wife and I, Jackie, that we're neighbors to the Field of Dreams, and we knew the owners of the field at that time very well. So we had a back way in from the cornfield. So we'd come over there and peer out of the corn and once again interact with the crowds that were there and pitch to them. And it all developed over time into a whole routine that we put together. And we brought other guys in throughout the years and really had a great program. And so we've continued that, and it's still going very strong, brings out a lot of people. It's always been free to attend, and, we'll get, depending on the season and depending on the year, but there could be anywhere from 500 to over 1,000 people out there, to see the Ghost Players. It's about an hour-long show and involves the little kids, but also some adults, and they get to hit and run the bases against us, and then afterwards the guys are available for photos and for autographs and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. We enjoy it immensely because you get to meet people from all over the world and just see how much that field and that movie means to them. So it's been a great experience.
Yeah, it's definitely one of our staff's favorite parts of the summer for sure. as a part of my job, what I love as operations manager of the field is to be able to interact with people and how it's touched them, but also people in the area that were around when the filming was going on, and hearing their stories of interacting with some of the cast members, the crew, and things like that, the fill-ins. Can you tell us what the vibe was like in the area when NBC came out to do the film?
Yeah, it was interesting because we'd had another movie that had been filmed like a year or two before that, just south of Dyersville, and that had Richard Gere and a couple other pretty high-profile actors and actresses in it. And they were a lot more in the area. They were out at the restaurants and bars and that type of stuff. So you saw them a lot more. When Universal came in to film, this movie, you really, if you didn't have a reason to be at that site, you weren't out there. And so as far as the area, it was probably more awareness of the previous movie than what the field, Shoeless Joe at that time was the name of it, and them being out there. But I know, talking with a lot of the guys that were in the movie, the baseball players, the Ghost players, guys like Frank Dardis, Paul Sherman, Hank Lucas, Jude Milbert, Steve Alberding, Fred Martin, all these, Mike Hodge, Dan Kennedy, Terry Kelleher, all these guys that were the players in the movie. It was kind of a unique experience. They really enjoyed, Kevin Costner. He was a great guy, an athlete, loved to play catch with him in that when he wasn't working. They were impressed by Burt Lancaster, just a really tremendous guy. Just that whole experience was, very unique. And so I can remember being a neighbor of the field, that there was a lot of nighttime shots that were done, and the lights would be on over there. And just to see the creation of the ball diamond was, just a unique experience. And then the final scene, and you have to remember, when the movie was filmed in the summer of 1988, at that time, that was one of the hottest and driest summers ever on record. And it was just, the heat was just oppressive that summer. And a lot of the neighboring farmers' crops weren't growing because there was no moisture. Well, they would take irrigation guns at night at the field, and they would irrigate the corn, so it would grow for the height that they wanted. So that was kind of unique, too. So there was a lot of different things that went on with the movie that typically you don't see in a small Iowa community. It was definitely a different experience for everyone.
Yeah, and too, that there was actually fake corn that was brought in just in case they didn't get the actual crops as high as they wanted. Can you confirm that?
Yeah, and the other thing that they did such a good job with the irrigation that the corn got a lot taller when it normally was. So at the beginning of the movie, when Kevin Costner's out in the corn and he hears the voice, if you build it, he will come. They couldn't see him, so they had to build a platform down the middle of the cornfield, for him to stand on to bring him up out of the corn. And there are a lot of different things. The grass in the outfield, that was all painted green, so it would have that lustrous look to it and such. So it adds to the whole story of that wonderful place.
Yeah, definitely. So you touched on it a little earlier on in the interview, but how rewarding it is for you and the other Ghost players to be able to interact with people all over the world, and it's taking you across the country and overseas. Can you touch on some of those experiences and what it's like for you and the other Ghosts to have the opportunity to people, all the way across the world, and some of those experiences?
Well, I think the biggest thing would be, in all honesty, from my perspective, would be just the bond that we've developed, that I've, been incredibly fortunate with these gentlemen that have been, a lot of them have been with me with this, and the dedication and just that they and their families have made through the years. I'd say that's probably the biggest thing that I take away from this. We really are a very close-knit family, and the experiences that we've had, the things that we've been able to share, and that through the years. I mean, it's really tough to to put one thing out there. But I will say, I think the thing that most of us are the most proud of, for a long time, we had the opportunity to work with the USO and Department of Defense, and we went overseas for almost 12 years, doing events all over the world, from Europe to the Middle East to the Mediterranean to the Pacific Rim to South America. Really any place that we had a base, not only overseas but in the United States too, we went in and performed our show. And it was just very, it's just something that to see what these military individuals and their families, sacrifice for our country is just amazing. And for us to be able to bring a little bit of America to them when they're stationed overseas, and just to see the smiles and the joy in their eyes was something that I think all of us are extremely proud of. And so that would probably be, the highlight. But I mean, the whole thing, I mean, we've had you talked about, through the last, going on 30 years, and we've had the opportunity to travel, not only all across the United States, but all over the world. And just to see all these different places and all these different people and get to meet just tremendous individuals has been, what a gift. And it really is, really was made by that Universal Studios movie Field of Dreams. And which is amazing to us is, to this day, it continues. You'd mentioned earlier, we do the Ghost Sunday appearances out the field, that was our start. And Marv Myers, who's our on-field manager of the Ghost Players, he always starts every show by asking, how many of you folks is your first time there? And it's amazing, even after all these years, yep. I'd say probably 75% of that crowd is the first time that they've been there. And Marvy's always got a great line. He always says, "Hey, it's been 30 years. Where the heck have you been?" So that to me is, just kind of is really a lot of fun also.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible, and both for you and I, we've seen it over the years, is that you get all walks of life at the field, and no matter what they've gone through, no matter what troubles they've come across in their life, they kind of put them to rest for at least the length of time that they're at the field. And it just kind of seems to be, there's like a spiritual air about the Field of Dreams that people just, it's universal. I mean, it doesn't get any more universal and American and spiritual than the game of baseball. It just crosses boundaries.
Yeah, and that's an understatement. I mean, that field has and it's not so much, I mean, obviously the movie, had a big part of it, but I think, the field itself has evolved so far beyond that. It's become an American icon where people want to make that pilgrimage out there to see it for a variety of different reasons. I mean, a lot of people that come there aren't even sports fans, baseball fans, but they, everyone has families and everyone has relationships, and that movie played deeply into all that. And it's just been, in all honesty, it's been that place, that movie site is deeply embedded in my heart and the majority of my players. And we put a lot of time and effort. I mean, through the years, you look at it, all the things that we've done to help it be what it is. We're all very proud of that. And that's something that, I think from a legacy standpoint for all of us, all these guys are always going to be the Field of Dream Ghost Players, no matter what.
Yep. That's incredible. I mean, we thank you guys for everything that you do and continuing to put the field on the map. And, kind of going into that a little more in depth is a big part of the reason why the field is still so renowned and well known is the big events that we have year to year. And part of that is the Ghost Sunday shows, but also an event that started in 2013 called the Team of Dreams event, held Labor Day weekend. And you actually, Keith, are the CF president of Travel Dubuque in Iowa, and your team is running the Team of Dreams event this the event and who all is set to be there this Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. The lifeblood of the field, in my opinion, has been the events through the years. And, the first one goes all the way back to 1991, and that was the Upper Deck a Labor Day extravaganza. I think that really was, and then we had a series of those events afterwards. And I think that was really the thing that took the field from just kind of a curiosity to a national attraction. We brought in, at that time, and still to this day, some legends of the game and celebrities, gentlemen like Reggie Jackson and Lou Brock, Bob Gibson. I could go right down the line, and it was just amazing. The first home run ever hit out there in an actual game was by Reggie Jackson. He's just, just hammered it to right field, and that really catapulted the field, and they just got it. The amount of ABC Good Morning America was there to cover it. It got national attention. And then they followed up in '92 with the night game, was just amazing. It was just a beautiful setting. And then we continue to do those events through the years, so with a variety of different things, from continuing with the celebrity baseball games, and then fantasy camps, golf outings, all kinds of different activities. And Netflix was out in 2006. They went to 10 places across the country where famous movies were shown, and they did in August they did an event. Well, they brought Kevin Costner in with his band, and they performed. We had 9,000 people out there that evening, and all that type of stuff continued to put the field in front of people that said, hey, I got to go see this place. This is amazing. And like you mentioned, in 2013, the Team of Dreams was created, and we've been lucky enough to be involved with that through the years. Obviously, I've been pretty much every event at the field since the beginning. I've been involved in some way, and so I helped with that. My staff and I helped with it, and we've got that event is going to be held this Labor Day weekend. It'll be the September 1st, Sunday, at the field, and we've got just an amazing lineup coming with more names to be announced that's going to take it over the top. But we've got Hall of Famers, one of the best guys I've ever met, Ozzie Smith, St. Louis Cardinal legend, is coming. Wade Boggs, another Hall of Famer, is a partial owner at the Field of Dreams, a part of the team out there. Hall of Famer of football, Bob Greasy, and former announcer. We got a new inductee into the Hall of Fame this year, Edgar Martinez, and then last year, Vlad Guerrero. And then we've got 6 of the actors from The Sandlot are going to be out there, and that's one of my all-time favorite, not only baseball, but movies, just a great one. So 6 of those actors, and then 3 of the actresses from A League of Their Own. But like I mentioned, we've got we've got all kinds of former Major League Baseball players that we're going to be announcing here within the next couple of weeks. But yeah, that event takes place, and that, as you know, Roman, that event draws people from all over the United States. It's amazing, where people come from for that. But like people say, where else can you go to see these, legends, not only of the game of baseball and sports, but also, Hollywood celebrities, in this kind of a setting. We do it on Sunday night, put the lights on. These celebrities come out of the corn, and people get to see them in the celebrity softball game. And we've just had it's been some great experiences through the years, from Johnny Bench being the MC and all kinds of different things. It's quite an experience.
Yeah, it definitely is. After 30 years, all the events that we've had and seeing dreams come true, and just people's eyes light up of these Hall of Fame players, players that the older generations have grown up watching on TV come out of the corn for the first time. It's surreal, and I think we have the right to say, is this heaven? Well, yes, it is. It truly is heaven. It's just perfect, and it doesn't get any better than that. And it really is weekend and Q&As with the players, like that in Dubuque at the hotel, and just a lot of great festivities. Fans, if you're looking for more information on that, you can visit teamofdreams.com. I did mention there's more names released on this event here coming up that will for that fantastic weekend. So be on Facebook and social media and the website as well. So, Keith, I always like to end our interviews by asking one question for everyone that I have on, and that is, if there's one message that fans need to do, in your eyes, what is that?
With the Field of Dreams, it'd be you need to, if you've not been there, you need to take the time to make that pilgrimage to the site. And I recommend either July or August, September, when the corn is at its height, like it was in the movie, when it's just absolutely breathtaking out there. You need to take your time, and if you got loved ones that you want to share this experience with, bring them along and come out and just plan a day out there and just play ball, experience everything that it has to offer. And if you have been out there, come back out again, because I think all of us need that your soul to be refreshed, and I think that place definitely has that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Well, Keith, hey, thanks for taking the time. I know you've been here, but thanks for everything you've done and continuing to make people's dreams come true.
All right, thank you, Roman. Appreciate it.
And there you have it, my interview with Keith Rahe, founder of the iconic Ghost Players of the Field of Dreams movie site. It was a great interview. Really had a great time talking with him. I've known Keith for years, and I got things out of it that I hadn't known before. So I really enjoy these shows because I get a lot out of it, and interacting with people all over the country and the world, and just hearing their stories of how they were influenced by the film and what they remember at the time it came out in theaters really speaks to me, and it's a really humbling experience because it really puts all of this into perspective and brings us back full circle as to why we hold the events that we do. And speaking of which, we have some great events coming up here this summer. It's going to be a busy season for us for sure. If you are interested in learning more about the interesting events that we have coming up, please visit our website, fieldofdreamsmoviesite.com, and there's a calendar of events and things like that on our site that you can view and buy tickets for some amazing events like Military Appreciation Day on Saturday, June 1st. It is a day-long event to give back to active and retired military members of the United States Armed Forces who have sacrificed so much for this great country. We're going to have live music on site, inflatables and games for the kids, 50% off home tours, military vehicle and equipment displays on site, and a lot of other fun activities for the family to come out and enjoy, food vendors on site, all kinds of interesting, fun things, all topped off with a game under the lights that evening at 7 o'clock, and we will finish it up with a showing of the film in the outfield, along with a short feature film on the Special Forces Charitable Trust and what they do for Gold Star families. And we also have the 30th anniversary celebration on Saturday, June 15th. It's a day-long event to give back to the fans and celebrate 30 magical years of the Field of Dreams movie site with over 115,000 people visiting a year. We are definitely excited to give back and anticipating a large turnout. It's a day-long event. Gates open at 10:30 in the morning. You can buy tickets on our website. And we also have all kinds of information on our social media pages featuring both the Military Appreciation Day and June 15th. So if you would like tickets to one of these events, please visit our website, fieldofdreamsmoviesite.com. Well, that is a wrap for episode 4 of the Dream Nation show. My name is Roman Weinberg. I'm your host, and for now, keep dreaming.